ultra filtration process that takes about 10 times longer. By the time it hits Coasterra, by the time it hits those margaritas, you have this fantastic tequila that's just really enjoyable and real palatable. I'm gonna walk you through the way that I usually taste tequilas and the way that I was taught by Senor Maurice. He's the master of it. So I'd love to share that with you today. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna take a little bit of the tequila, pour it into your glass, and just try to follow me every step of the way. Don't jump the gun or anything like that. Just I'd love for you to use this method throughout the rest of the tequila so you can truly get that experience, right? So we're gonna get the tequila. You're gonna breathe it in with your nose, but also with your mouth open, so you get a little bit of a fresh air and the and the tequila itself, right? So right now we're just smelling it. So everyone following around? All right, cool. So next, what we're gonna do, you're gonna try to see how that feels to you, how that smells to your liking, right? We're gonna do that again once we're done with the tasting. Next, we're just gonna take the tequila, we're gonna close our lips. We're not gonna let any tequila into our mouth. We're simply just gonna coat our lips with the tequila, kind of like you're giving a little kiss. Just gonna let it sit there, and then just gonna kind of, how does it feel? Does it feel hot? Does it feel cool? To me, this is very like minty, very fresh. To me, that's the indication of a well-made tequila, nice and clean, and you know, it kind of goes away right away. It's a nice indication of not like a very bad spirit that's just burning up your lips. Next, we're gonna take a little bit into our mouth, but just a little bit. We're not swallowing it right away. We're just taking it into our mouth. We're gonna swirl it around to the back of our mouth, underneath our tongue, all that good stuff, and then we'll slowly swallow it. But first, we're gonna swirl it around and let it truly sit there. And then we're kind of just trying to feel what the tequila is doing to you. To me, it's making the back of my mouth like salivate. Like my mouth is just watering. You know, my mouth released all this like crazy stuff into it. By the time it went down, it was almost cut in half. Slow. It gives me a little bit of a almost like a grapefruit. A little bit of pineapple, just fresh green tequila. Next, you're gonna smell it again once we've already drank the tequila, and see if that feels anything different, right? To me, this is the way that that I love to enjoy agave spirits and all the other spirits. I hope that you do this method with all these other tequilas that you're trying today. Maurice has a fantastic lineup, and just kind of take notes, see what every tequila does to your mouth differently, how it behaves, how it reacts to your mouth, where you feel all the different things, and I think you'll experience the tequila a whole lot different. I know you're tasting a lot of tequilas today, so I brought a little bit of show and tell. I always like to bring stuff. I brought this really cool thing here. It's a massive penca. I just wanted to put into a little illustration what a blue agave looks like. And it's really, really sharp, and it's really, really pointy. And just to kind of put in perspective, like what you're drinking, this is just a small little penca from the agave plant. Our jimadores have to fight this every day when they're cutting up those big giant piñas. That sometimes our piñas grow. We don't harvest our piñas about our agave plants till 7 or 10 years maturity. These create monstrous agaves. For that type of sort, that type of plant, you need a massive kind of tool to fight it. This is a coa. This is the tool that those jimadores use to cut it up. It's very sharp. It's very dangerous. But I just wanted to share with you those tools that our jimadores use to create this beautiful spirit that you guys are enjoying today, celebrating today. Thank you, Maurice. And yeah, that's kind of the gist of it. Hope you enjoyed that. And yeah, thank you so much for having me, Maurice.
That's awesome.
Thanks.
Yeah, that's fantastic. I think the tequila too, I saw some notes there, some people talking about how it's a little more aromatic and then it kind of goes away sometimes. But the way I tasted it was kind of a little bit of that tingling mintiness on the tip of my tongue. And then in the back, it really made me a little more salivate in the back. There was that little bit more earthiness in the back, which is kind of nice as well.
Yeah,
very
I love
cool.
it.
Very cool.
Cool.
All right.
Thank you so much, everyone.
Thanks, Luis. Our next presenter will be Nikki for Cutwater Tequila. Cutwater is, yes, here in San Diego. And let's see where Nikki is on here.
Hi, everyone. So instead of walking you through the tasting, I think it's going to be a little more fun to tell you the story about our Cutwater tequila. I'm sure you're thinking, how is a distillery in San Diego making tequila? Because it has to be made down in Jalisco. And of course, we are making it down in Jalisco. But if you have your sample of our Blanco, a nice aroma, we get a nice grassy aroma, which I love. It's really bright and earthy, as Maurice was talking about earlier. But Yusuf, our main founder, has always wanted to make his own tequila. And he also teaches, he's formerly a Ballast Point, if you guys don't know our history, but he teaches brewing school at UCSD. And a long magical story short, one of his students dropped a tequila bottle on his desk one day, and Yusuf was like, "Why are you giving me tequila? This is a brewing class." And he goes, "Well, my family makes this tequila. I wanted you to have it." So fast forward a few years, he goes down to visit Joaquin at his own brewery that he opened down in Guadalajara. And Joaquin introduced him to the rest of his family that makes tequila down in literally in the town of Tequila in the lowlands in Jalisco. And when he decided it was time to make tequila, he searched all over with a bunch of different producers. He went to the highlands, to the lowlands, met with Joaquin's family. And the problem he was running into is that nobody would let him actually make the tequila himself. So I'm trying to sum up this story, but it's so magical. So it worked out with Joaquin's family. It's the Orendine family. They let Yusuf build his very own still at their distillery. It is only used by Yusuf and his team. He's flying down there every 2 to 3 months to make the tequila himself. He is so hands-on. This is a passion project. This is his baby. I was lucky enough to go down to their very first bottling, and the whole entire family got together. They had a huge celebration. I felt like I was at Yusuf's wedding or birth of a child, I guess. And one of the Dons, like the main founders of Orendine, which they've been making tequila for almost 100 years now, took one sip of this Blanco and said, "Wow, this reminds me of tequila 40 years ago." So we are making it a traditional way. And another really cool story, they weren't using brick ovens to cook their agaves. And Yusuf did a side-by-side tasting of the agaves cooked in a brick oven or an autoclave. And they were like, "Oh my gosh, it tastes so much better out of a brick oven." So they changed their entire distillery to 100% brick oven cooked agave. And it just speaks to the Orendine family. They were open-minded enough to like try something new and listen to this gringo coming down. And the family has gotten so very close. Yusuf and his family go down to Mexico during the holidays. They spend, I think, Thanksgiving and sometimes Christmas with them. It's just a magical story. And I feel like you can really taste the love and passion in our Blanco.
Great.
I hope
Yeah.
everyone likes it as much as I do.
You know, it's super, super green. It's like really nice.
Yeah.
And then, but the nice thing is this fatness to it as well. It's kind of this
Yeah.
heavy fatness and then really nice bitterness in the back. I think it's delicious, really nice.
It's so great. A ton of flavor for a Blanco. And then one other thing I'd like to toss in there really super quick is we are very proud to say that we don't add any additives in our tequila. So that's very big and we're very proud of that. So thank you, everyone.
All right, great. We're going to go to El Tesoro next. That's the one that we kind of have in our, we have a half bottle of it right now. That's the one that we poured into the mixture that we did earlier. So let's go and try El Tesoro. And we have Luis in with us for El Tesoro today.
Hey, Maurice, thank you. Thank you for everybody. Happy Tequila Fest. And so glad to be around with all these other tequilas. Amazing selection. So my name is Luis Navarro, and I'm the senior guy on El Tesoro Tequila. And pretty familiar with Coasterra and the team there. They've been to a single barrel trip down there. So it's great to be here. El Tesoro, like all the other tequilas, are an amazing tequila. It has an amazing rich history made in Arandas, Jalisco, the highlands of Jalisco, by the Camarena family, Carlos Camarena, Jenny, long heritage. It was actually one of the first 3 100% agave tequilas ever imported to the US back in the 80s. So there's a lot of rich history with it. Yeah, tocayo. But I think it's important to see El Tesoro, like how it's actually made, because it really, we are committed to making the tequila the traditional old-fashioned way, the old school way, because we just think that, well, that's the way Don Felipe did it, and we want to continue that tradition. So I want to show, is it okay if I show a video, Maurice, of Carlos? It's like a 2-minute video.
I don't know if I have, I got to change you to I got to add you as a host here.
Oh, okay. In the meantime, if we can, let's go ahead and taste while you guys are doing it. We have the Blanco. We also are making the cocktail with El Tesoro that Maurice had you guys kind of infuse. But if you actually pick it up and smell it, you can actually smell very green notes. It's very aromatic, like very sweet. Perfect as a co-host. So I'm going to show you guys a little bit of the video because it's important to see the actual process of El Tesoro and how it's actually made. So here you go. I think you guys can all see it, right?
When my grandfather, Don Felipe Camarena, founded La Alteña Distillery in 1937, he created more than just a tequila. He built a family. We've employed the same families for generations, families whose hands and hearts have gone into making every single bottle of El Tesoro. Juan is one of 8 brothers at La Alteña. He is proud to work with 2 of them as jimadors in our agave fields. It's very hard work, knowing when the agave has reached peak maturity and harvesting by hand. They are skills learned from generations of jimadors before them. Another one of Juan's brothers is Guillermo. He works inside the distillery to trim, cook, and crush our agave. It's a team effort that requires dedication and strength, especially when they maneuver the Tajon stone. Few still crush agave this way, but this team is proud to honor this traditional method to make an exceptional agave-forward tequila. The Coronado family has always been a part of La Alteña. Jose and his 3 brothers became distillers after watching their father and grandfather in this role. Their father taught them how to double distill our tequila to proof. So precise is their skill, they can tell you the exact proof of our tequila just by taste. Jose is now proudly teaching his son and daughters this family tradition. These people are the heart and soul of El Tesoro. We are proud to honor the legacy that my grandfather set over 80 years ago. I think my grandfather would also be very proud to know that El Tesoro is still made by the hands of the same families at our home here at La Alteña.
So yeah, just as you guys saw, it's really like the old traditional way that 100% Tahona crush, all the agaves are overripe. So it is a lot of hard work, and I think it's important. You can actually see it. Last year, we received the award for Best Agave Producer by the International Spirits Council. So it's they are recognizing everything they do. So if you smell it, you can really smell a lot of that terroir, from where it comes from, the highland, the soil. It has a little minerality. So if you smell it and taste it, go ahead and try it and tell me what you guys think or any questions. I absolutely love it. I think it has like a very bright start. It has like a very smooth, well-balanced flavor on the palate. And it's great, neat. I love it. This is my favorite one to drink. I'm an agave, a Blanco guy, so I love the Blanco. They're all amazing. As you guys can see, we have from Blanco all the way to 2 different extra añejos. So yeah, hopefully you enjoyed it. Hopefully you enjoy the videos, and stay safe, everybody, and have an amazing Tequila Fest. Thank you, Maurice, for having me on here.
Thanks, Luis. Thank you. Yeah, I think it's a great example of high quality tequila. I love the balance of it. It goes straight from the tip of my tongue all the way to the very back, and it's like all really even. And then it's this beautiful different flavors of green agave, cooked agave, and then this little bit of sweetness of and citrusy notes as well. Really, really nice.
Perfect. Thank you.
Cool. All right, we're going to move on. We're going to move on to another category here. We're going to go into a reposado. So you should have now a looks like you should have a Herradura reposado. I think Shauna is going to be going ahead and talking about this one here. And so this is the same one we had. We had the regular Herradura in our first cocktail. So now we're doing the reposado. Let's see.
Hello, it's Martha actually.
Oh, Martha.
I'm representing Tequila Herradura. I don't know if can you guys hear me and see me. I'll go ahead and get started. As I mentioned, my name's Martha. We're going to be tasting Tequila Herradura today, the Reposado expression. So what does reposado mean? It actually means rested. And in 1974, Casa Herradura actually introduced the category of the expression. And now we continue to be very innovative in the industry. We're going to go ahead and start with the tasting. Hopefully you guys have your glass, you have poured it, and we're going to go ahead and begin. We want to always take a look at the color. We go ahead and swirl it around, look at the legs. It's really all about what we see, what we eat with our nose and our eyes before we actually taste. So go ahead and nose it. So the aroma should be some anise, some fruits, some spice. We actually age our our reposado 9 months than standard. So the CRT tells us we have to age a reposado for a minimum of 2 months. We actually age ours for 11 months, so 9 months longer than the standard. Go ahead and take a small sip. Should be smooth, sweet, with a touch of spice, some spice and some oak. So I'm going to go ahead and get started a little bit more about history and who we are. So Casa Herradura was actually founded in 1870. That makes us the second oldest distilling company in Mexico, founded by Feliciano Romero in the Valle of Amatitan, which is in the foothills of Tequila in the Sierra Madre. We are considered a lowland producing tequila. However, we do a blend of 20% highland, 80% lowland, which is what gives us a beautiful combination of spice, but also floral. We produced tequila in the old traditional Spanish hacienda until 1963. Since then, the distillery is still preserved as a museum, but today Herradura is the intact working hacienda and is still producing tequila. Casa Herradura is one of 156 distilleries in Mexico, but we only produce our products. So that alone makes us a very unique tequila. And we are the only true producing hacienda. So what does that mean? We are the only hacienda, meaning we are a self-sustaining community. We were established, as I mentioned, in the 1800s. We have an active chapel. We have living quarters where we actually currently have jimadores living. We have running water, and we grow a crop, which is our agave. Our history is rich when it comes to terms of growing with the history. As Maurice earlier mentioned, it has transformed over the years, and Casa Herradura has grown with that growth. We have witnessed the revolution and also the birth of the modern tequila. Our products are unique. They begin, like I mentioned, in the lowlands. We harvest after 7 to 10 years after our agave is fully matured, but what really kind of makes our tequila unique, we are maintaining the traditional cooking style of a brick oven. We cook about 26 hours, and then we let another 26 hours to rest. Then we begin with the milling, the general process, but a really highlight for us is natural fermentation. We don't add any yeast. We let our natural airborne of the hacienda, since we have fruits and citruses, we let that naturally ferment our liquid. It takes about 96 hours, but it can take up to 168 hours to fully ferment. And then once we begin our maturation, we do mature all of our tequilas longer than standard. For our silver, we age 2 months, which is for silver, the CRT doesn't require. For our reposado, we age the 11 months, and then our añejo, we do age for 2 years. And then that's a little bit of Casa Herradura.
Great, Martha. That was great. It was. If you haven't been to Herradura, it's really amazing. It's an entire village in itself. There, they have like
Yeah.
their own church and everything too. It's amazing. You know the way this tastes, it's really nice as well. It's kind of a little more heat on the tip of my tongue, but it's got this nice honeycomb flavor, and there's also really nice rolls off the back of my tongue as well. Like this kind of like roundness too, like it almost rolls across my tongue rather than like it's not chunky or anything like that. It's really nice. So keep in mind, you guys are taking your notes here because you're going to be voting for the best of the fest today. We're going to go to another reposado here, and this is going to be La Luna Azul. And I believe we have Rob join us. Thank you, Martha. Appreciate it.
Hey, everybody. Can you hear me?
You're all good.
Awesome. Hope that everybody's enjoying virtual Tequila Fest. I mean, it's definitely a great way to spend a Saturday afternoon. So thank you for the invitation, Maurice.
Thanks for coming.
Yeah, today we're going to be tasting our Luna Azul single estate reposado. So if you haven't already, grab your 50 mil. Luna Azul might not be familiar to a lot of you in the U.S. So I'm going to just start with a little bit of a history of Luna Azul. So Luna Azul is a single batch, small estate tequila. It's produced at our estate Tierra de Agaves, which is located right outside the town of Tequila. It's on the valley floor, just under the Tequila volcano. So we sit on about 4,000 acres with over 4 million agave plants that have been in the family for over 250 years, since the king granted the first license to our patriarch, Jose Antonio Cuervo, which Maurice actually just touched on in his training earlier. Our water source comes from the volcanic stream that runs right underneath our property from the Tequila volcano. Our humidors, we hand harvest. We work in small batches, about 20 tons. So 20 tons basically fills up one of those trucks that Maurice had a picture of. And that equates to about, after it's all cooked down and distilled, about 320 finished cases. So we slow cook our agave for about 27 hours. We then mill it at the cooked down piñas, and then we send them off to ferment. Once fermented, we distill them in cognac Olympic stills, another picture that Maurice had. We like using the cognac stills versus column stills because you can cut the heads and tails and just keep the hearts. A lot of folks use column stills. That's a continuous still, and you don't have an opportunity to really just get to the heart of the distillate. And what happens is that creates a really very pure distillate. We don't use diffusers or additives of any kind. And then once it comes off, we age it in our once used Heaven Hill bourbon barrels. We're lucky to have a good supply of Heaven Hill bourbon barrels that we send down to Mexico. And so that's our basic process. So the reposado that we're tasting today, it's rested for 6 months. So when you're starting out, when you're smelling it, the aroma, it should be really clean and delicate. There shouldn't be any gasoline taste or anything. It's a very pure distillate, and you might get some hints of vanilla. So first sip, you should really be getting that classic earthy agave that lowland tequilas are famous for. And then it might finish with a little bit of the vanilla notes that you pick up from the barrel. The second sip, when I do the second sip, it's usually smoky and spicy for me. And that, my friends, is Luna Azul Reposado. Cheers, everyone. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them in the chat.
Great, Rob. That's awesome. Yeah, a little bit different in these two reposados side by side. They're very different from each other. This has a little bit more of that kind of like bitter kind of greenness in the back, which is great because it's kind of like that lowland, traditional lowland. And it's also really smooth too on the tongue, just really smooth, really, really nice.
Yeah.
What do you guys think? You guys enjoying these so far? All right.
Yeah, interestingly enough, so Herradura is our neighbor, and so is the Azuña properties. So we're all right in the same neighborhood there in the lowlands or underneath the Tequila volcano. Thanks everybody for your time.
Thank you. Thanks, Rob. All right, we're gonna go to our another tequila here. This is the Código Rosado. This is Código Rosa. And I believe we have Jeff over here is going to talk to us today about the Código.
Yeah, thanks for having me. It's a privilege to be on with some really good tequilas. I see some former colleagues, so it's good to see everybody. My name is Jeff. I'm with Código 1530 and the director of sales for the West, and just want to touch on a few things that we do down the distillery. We're also a neighbor. We're just, so the virtual background I have here, that's our road that leads past Herradura Distillery. So we're right in the mix. If you're heading down to Herradura, contact us. We'll be happy to host you. But this is something that's been a 5th generation family tequila. So we're still relatively the new kid on the block as a name, Código 1530. The family's been producing for 5 generations, and there's 3 brothers that are doing it right now. Código means code and customs. So they said, as long as when we're producing this to go public, to stick to the traditions of this family. And then 1530, the town of Amatitan, where many of these tequilas are produced, that's the year that it was produced. So, or founded, excuse me. And, it's just an homage to the heritage and the family. So we have a very small distillery. It's tiny. There's 2 pot stills, but on the production side, so we get the agave and we use a tactometer to measure the brix count. And so it's really important to not only have the age appropriate, but the sugar content. So we choose everything above 32 brix or higher, which is much higher than the average. So that allows us to really get a lot of good tequila from the fermentation process. We use a press taken from water instead of roller mill or whatnot. And so it's a centrifuge, and we take the first press. And that's one of the big differentiators, I think, is that instead of taking a lime and grinding the whole thing in your margarita, taking that first squeeze, you're going to notice a nice freshness to it. And that's something that we follow. On the fermentation process, we actually use bread yeast from a bakery in Amatitan. So bread yeast is very mild. It's very delicate. So it does take a little bit longer than the traditional, Brazilian yeast or tequila yeast that is used. And then we've got 2 pot stills. Everything runs through the second pot still. And we take it very near proof, which is difficult to do, and more on the rare side for spirits. Instead of at 70% cutting with water, it's low 40%. And so that way we're really not diluting a whole lot. So that gets us the Blanco. Today you have the Rosa. So instead of using American oak whiskey barrels, which predominantly is used in the tequila world, we use all French oak barrels, all previously holding Napa Cabernet wine. So a few of the wineries that you guys might be familiar with is Schrader, which sells for about $500 a bottle, Gemstone and Outpost. And there's a few others that I would love to mention, but they're from very private families that want to maintain private, but those bottles sell for about $1,000 in stores for the cab. So it's really prestigious barrels. They're all over 200 years old. And so we get them directly from Napa. We throw our Blanco in and we rest it for about 30 days. And so I don't know if you can see with my virtual background, but you guys have it in front of you. And it's this really light blush color tequila. So still a Blanco, right? It's aged less than 2 months, but the aging process really lends itself to some really good, some floral notes, some red fruit, but you still get that bright agave coming through just like a Blanco would. So this is something that's really a standout for us. We're one of the only ones that are producing in wine barrels and using a wine stain to really create this great Rosa. We do have a reposado. So those barrels, we char them after we get our Rosa, and we throw our Blanco back in there for a reposado and a añejo and a 6-year extra añejo too to round out the line. But yeah, it's a really cool offering, something fun. There's a lot of Blancos and repos out there, which we all have, but we thought this was a fun one to share with you guys. So we really hope you enjoy. And yeah, if you guys are around Amatitan and hitting the other spots, please let us know. Be happy to host you.
That's great. Great, Jeff. Yeah, I really like the silkiness of this tequila. It's really silky and really ends up in the back. Really, really nice, like kind of really freshness and richness in the back of my palate. Really nice.
Yeah, and I see a comment there for additives. We also are a distiller that uses no additives, and we're really proud of that, as many of you guys are on the other tequilas here. But some common additives are, vanilla, oak essence, and there's a handful that are common that some distilleries decide to use and some distilleries decide not to. So it's just a different style. But yeah, thanks again, guys. I really appreciate it.
Great, thanks. Thank you, Jeff. All right, our last tequila today, it's a mezcal. So we're gonna go with Brandon, who's gonna show us El Silencio. right, Brendan on here right now. I don't see him. I don't see Brandon. I think might have that. I see. He has some technical difficulties or something. Well, let's go and look at this. This is El Silencio's Mezcal. We had talked to you guys about the differences between tequila and mezcal, and this is now, we're looking at a complete different cooking procedure. You notice that, we were talking about the brick ovens for like cut water and some of the distilleries there. They kind of give a little bit more of a roundness to the spirit themselves. There's a different texture to the spirit. So this is actually done in underground. In those pits, and they're used in stone pits. El Silencio now has its own distillery in Oaxaca, and we'll go ahead and go and smell through this one here. And the people usually right away tell me, "Oh, it's smoky." Yeah, but I want to get past that because mezcal is going to be smoky. But I want you to get past smokiness because there's other really unique, interesting flavors in mezcal. We're looking at a different plant similar to to Blue Weber. It's the espadín. And on this, I get a little bit more of this kind of fermented notes, like fermentation notes, more of this almost like phenolic notes that come out in the glass. And there is that slight smokiness, but there's also a citrus element that comes through. There's this like bright, like almost the peel of the citrus, the oils of the citrus plant. Let's taste it. You see, it's a nice roundness, slight burn at the tip of my tongue, but it goes to the back. And when I finish in it, there's a little bit that smoke that happens in the finish, but there's also this kind of green agave, kind of like really green agave flavor. And it's in the middle of my tongue, right in the middle. It kind of hangs out there for a long time. I think it really comes through great for cocktails when it comes through in a cocktail because it adds a whole nother dimension to cocktails besides the tequila. Because sometimes tequila can get lost in the cocktail because some of them are so smooth and so elegant that in a cocktail with all the citrus and everything they get lost. But a mezcal can kind of come through a little bit. All right, so yeah, there's always mezcal it's one of those things that's either you love it or you hate it. I think at some point people are going to get to the point where you get used to it and it's like, oh, I kind of love it, and that's where I'm at. I love mezcal, so it's all different people's taste buds and preferences. So let's go do our poll for today. So you guys had tasted your 8 tequilas there. And I'm going to go ahead and put a poll up for you, and you can go ahead and I'm not going to do this one. Let's do this poll here, and you're going to go ahead and vote. You can vote. You can vote as many times as you like because you want to vote for your top ones. Okay, these are going to be your favorite tequilas you tasted today. So ready, and here we go. All right, so go ahead. You guys see that, and you can start putting your votes there. We'll run it for about 30 seconds or so, maybe 45 seconds, and then we'll see where the winners come up to see what your favorite tequila was of the festival. Again, we're looking for the best tequila of the festival. The Tequila of the Fest will go on to have a cocktail here at Coasterra. So vote away. All right, coming along. There's some things neck and neck right now. All right, got a few more seconds. Let's get another 5 seconds here. Okay, and everyone's put their votes in. We're all good? All right, we're going to end the poll here, and voila. Go ahead and share the results for you. You guys see the results there? It looks like Herradura was the Reposado was the one that won the festival. With it was really close. I mean, look at those numbers. The next one was actually the Código Rosado, and then followed by the Luna Azul. Looks like you guys all like your Reposados, huh? I'm a Blanco kind of guy. I don't know. I like Blancos myself, but very good. All right, yeah, everyone's gonna start gloating now and putting in there. So congratulations to Herradura for coming through with their Reposado today. Very nice. Good. All right, so let's do this. We're ready to make our last cocktail. We should have our tequila that's already been infused, and we should have that ready to go. So let me go ahead and get set up with another camera here real quick, and we'll start our next cocktail. Okay, so we have our infused tequila here, and we're going to do is we're going to need a glass, a bucket glass or a double rocks glass for this one. Okay, so let's get that ready. You're going to need your orange. We're just going to use the peel for the orange. Okay, and then you're going to need your chocolate bitters, which comes in the other ramekin that we gave to you. You're going to need your shaker, of course. So I'm going to empty my shaker out from the stuff I had before. Okay, give it a little rinse with some water. And all right, so we're going to be using our reposado, our El Tesoro tequila that's already ready to go. We're going to need our honey water that we had before, and we have our Grand Marnier. Now it looks good. We got everything we need. Okay. So you can make this cocktail using reposado or anejo, but we decided to kind of make our own style. We're using the Blanco tequila by infusing it with the cloves and with the cinnamon. So what I'd like you to do is we're going to get our shaker, and we're going to go ahead and get the lid for our shaker and put it on top, and we're going to go ahead and strain the cinnamon and cloves on that shaker there. Okay. So just like that, let the tequila go in there. Now, when we pull that off, put it off to the side, go ahead and smell it. And you can see, just give it a little bit of tons of the sweetness of the cinnamon, a little bit of the spiciness of the clove coming through in the tequila, just kind of nice built in the glass. So you have about an ounce and a half of your El Tesoro infused with cloves and cinnamon. Okay. We're going to get our honey water, and we're going to do half an ounce of honey water. And pour it right in there. Again, no ice. I don't like to do any ice till much later. We save that for a lot later. Okay. So if you guys are along here so far, okay, you guys making it, trying to keep up. All right. So 2 ingredients so far: tequila and your honey water. Now we're going to get our Grand Marnier, and let's do another half ounce of Grand Marnier there. That would be about 3 teaspoons if you were using a teaspoon. Okay. And we're just kind of letting them meld in there. Okay. All right. Perfect. Coming along here. And we're going to make it standard old-fashioned. What I'm going to do is going to get some ice, and we're going to do fill your cup with ice, probably about maybe halfway with ice, just about like that. And we're going to get our teaspoons or our stirring spoons, and we're going to start to stir. What I'm going to do, I don't want to shake it. I don't want to like stir really hard. I'm going to just do a nice, easy stir, just like this. And what I'm doing really is I'm pushing my spoon back and forth, and I'm spinning it. Do for about 20 seconds, okay? 20 seconds is going to get the right dilution for the spirit that we want here. Notice my spoon actually stays to the back of the tin, and we're just slowly turning the ice out, just letting it dilute, turn the water there. That's all we're trying to do. We're not trying to agitate it, not doing anything else there. Perfect, right about like that, okay? Now I'm going to get fresh ice and put that into my rocks glass. If you had a cube of ice, that's great too. A nice cube of ice works really well because then your old-fashioned does not melt very too quickly. And we're going to get our strainer again. Take out all that clove and out of there, and we're going to go ahead and strain it right into our glass. Get a little bit of the chocolate bitters. You guys have a little chocolate bitters I put for you. Go ahead and dash those right on top. Probably just a couple of drops right on top, so you have a little bit of chocolate bitter on there. And the last thing is we'll get our peeler, and we'll peel an orange, a little orange swab here with our peeler. Nice, and I get a nice big one just like that. And what I'm going to do, like we did with the lime, is we're going to get that peeler and just kind of squeeze it over the top a little bit, just like that. That's our orange essence there. All right, so where are we at? Everybody looking good so far? We've strained it into fresh ice, and we have our reposado ready to go. Okay. All right, let's go and taste it. Cheers, everyone. Yeah, very nice. You see how the little bit of spice comes through with the cinnamon that comes through and the clove and the finish in the back of your tongue, kind of making a really, really nice finish on that cocktail. So that's kind of like your old fashioned using tequila, but a little play with the brandy, the Grand Marnier, using cognac in this. So it's kind of a lot of fun. All right. Any questions? You guys enjoy that? All right. Let's see here. Change my camera from there. Oh, cool. All right. Any questions today? I think we're going to go ahead and finish up. Unfortunately, we had a little bit of an issue with the recording part of it. It was on pause in the very beginning, and we missed the first half of the Tequila Fest. So I will send out the second half of Tequila Fest to you guys if you guys want to revisit it. And hopefully you can take, you have your cocktails recipes with you so you know what those are like for the future. If you like these cocktails, you can make them at home. And definitely come on down to Coasterra at some point where we're going to have at Herradura Reposado tequila cocktail for you at some point here. So it should be fun to try it when you come on down, and go ahead and ask for that when we're ready for that in the next few months here. Okay. Let's see. Any other questions, guys? Very good. Very good. Looks like people are interested in these tours, huh? They want to go down to Tequila. You got to go down to Tequila and do a tour there. You want me to take you? I'll take you. I can set up a tour if you like, once this COVID thing's all over. No, I won't be here tomorrow. No, I won't be at Coasterra. No. Great. Thank you, Luis. Have a great one. Yeah, I'll do a tour and we'll do a sign up for everybody to get you guys down to Tequila. Maybe we can have all our representatives here come with us too. Right, Jared and Jeff? You guys can come down? Nice.
Count me in. I am there.
You can't get too much. You can't go there enough times, right? You know, it never gets old. Never gets old. Nice. Yeah, and then maybe we go down to Oaxaca and make mezcal. You know, may I change some of you guys into a believer in mezcal? Yeah, Bill likes that. Absolutely. But I'm glad you guys enjoyed it. Very, very good. And La Bamba, yes. Well, I'm gonna enjoy my old fashioned. This is delicious. That's great. Yeah. And again, those of you who missed out on some of the tequilas, I apologize for that. That was me loading 200 bags, and it was it's a lot of work, and I must have missed something there. So I really apologize for that. I do have them here at the restaurant at some point. If you want to come by, I'll have them for you off the side. Just send me an email and get you squared away, and will be no problem with that. Okay.
Let's leave the meeting.
Okay, so that's it.
Old Town Liquor, yes. Go to Old Town Liquor. Best selection of tequilas. You're going to find everything at Old Town Liquor. It's a great spot for that.
Oh, Steve goes to that place you and Jen like upstairs, the tequila place.
Yeah. But the downstairs for buying tequila is fantastic. Is the best. Yeah.
Now she's as crazy as Jean.
All right, good everyone. All right, well, I'm going to go say goodbye to you all. Thank you for joining us. And again, hopefully next time we'll be in person. I do plan to do something down the road with gin, so keep an eye out for that. If you guys are gin lovers, there'll be something coming out soon. And then we're going to keep trying to perfect it each time. You know, there's always little glitches on everything, but hopefully, we'll keep going as we go further. You guys have a great day, everyone. Enjoy National Margarita Day on Monday. Come down to Coasterra, have a margarita. Come to any Cone restaurant group and have a margarita. You're going to enjoy it. But please celebrate on Monday with a margarita. No, you know what? Celebrate tomorrow and Monday with a margarita. That's the best thing you can do.
Thanks, Maurice.
Cheers, guys. See you all. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Have a good one. Take care.
Cheers, everyone.
Bye, everyone. Cheers.
Bye-bye. Take care.
Thank you.
Thank you all. Bye. Cheers. Salud.
Salud. Salud.
Good to see everyone's videos on there.
Huh?
Very good.
You never got online.
Yeah, we were on. Okay, we're on. Now you can hear us. Now you can hear us. Cheers! Cheers! Thank you.
Woo, yeah! Nice. Look at that group over there. Nice.
Oh, there.
Ready?
A little bit. Thank you.
Cheers.
Cheers.
See you all, guys. Bye, Mike Parisa. Hi, guys. All right.
That's the chick that had all those bags. Yeah. Did you see him? Yeah, he gave me the bags. Okay. But it was just funny because there were some other girls behind me picking up.
All right, guys. Oh, see you later. Till next year. Ciao.
Yeah.